Okay. I hope that worked. I don't know if that worked. Oh man, I don't know if that worked, but I hope it worked. Welcome in everybody. I am doing okay. Welcome in everyone. I'm doing like a fly by the night, raid Are We Not Men. I want to give a special shout out to Are We Not Men for giving me the idea of rating my own stream. I appreciate it. If you want to join in, I will hook you up. I'm really sorry, but I'm doing like a last minute setting up the panel here. You guys are welcome to call in. Call-ins are welcome. Shut up, Are We Not Man? You're awesome. By the way, thank you for all that. I appreciate it. So let me get set up here. I'm going to set up the Discord, and I don't know if it worked on Twitch though. That's my only other problem. If I go, I know Tariak, by the way, thank you for the raid. You raided over. I do appreciate that. You're awesome. Um, I know it should be working on, hopefully it is working on Twitch. I don't even know if it is, but if it's, anyways, I'm just going to have to like, it's just going to be what it is. It's just going to be what it is. If most of the people who are on here are watching um, on, on YouTube anyways. So, you guys are the awesome ones. Welcome in everybody. Okay. So here's what you can do. Yeah, I know guys. If you want to call in, I'm going to put in the Discord link. Are We Not Men? Can you do me a favor? Can you type in pound Discord, which is !Discord. Anybody can do this, but Are We Not Men? Since you're and I think Laugh as well is on there. Just put in !Discord on the YouTube side or on the Twitch side. It'll give you a link to my Discord. Hop on Discord, and I'm going to set up Discord. Abe, bro, I see you. I was going to raid you, man, but I got asked to do a post-debate stream. So we'll still do a raid over to you if you're still raiding after, or sorry, if you're still live. Abe, we'll still take it over to you, man. And again, Tariak, thank you for the raid. I know some people raided me on the Twitch side. Holy crap, what a night it's been. Holy crap, folks. What a night it has been. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, there you go. There's a Discord link. It's on YouTube. On Twitch, I'm not seeing what the hell's going on Twitch. So I'm going to try something on Twitch. I just want to get it. I want to get it sorted out. Okay, one sec. And I'm going to get the Discord sorted out. So what you're going to do is if you join the Discord, I think I'm running now on Twitch. We'll see what happens there. If you hop on Discord, hop on the lounge link. And the only people who are going to be allowed are people who the current members of the lounge channel on Discord allow through. They have full admin access. Yeah, sure, we can duel up, Abe. How does that work? I don't know how that works, man. How does it work to duel up? You're not seeing me live on Twitch? I think I'm on live on Twitch now. I'm pretty sure I'm live on Twitch now. I hope I'm live on Twitch now. Somebody will have to help me. Twitch is acting up, man. Pura, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. It says I'm live on Twitch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the stream room. Stream went black for me. I'm sorry. Is it on? Guys on Twitch, you're going to have to help me out. While you guys are helping me out on the Twitch side, I really appreciate it. Abe, maybe Abe or Are We Not Men? Can you Discord? I'm trying to manage like 600 things at once here. All right. So please Discord me. You guys have my DMs. We're going to get some people on here. We're going to chat about it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the stream room. I would ask that the mods, if they are listening, do not put anyone on just yet. I will DM the mods to to put people on when I'm ready. I am not ready yet. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, now I'm on the stream room. I'm going to have to turn on the desktop audio, which means everybody's going to hear the Discord. Okay, so let me send a message out. And we'll get some people in here, okay? Okay, and then we're going to make sure this works. Twitch is fine. You just got to refresh. Okay. Yeah, because I have the Twitch chats going on. Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Folks are in Discord too. Yeah. Thank you, Are We Now Men. Thank you. It's on. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So you can join in on the Twitch side if you want. Hopefully that it's really weird how that works or doesn't work. I don't really know. YouTube seems to be the pop in place. You guys can come on YouTube, Discord, etc. So now the mods are free to put in whomever they like into the panel. We have a lot of people in, so I'm going to allow the mods to drag people into the stream room. Only the mods are able to see it. So first of all, let me say this. Okay, let me pop up the chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. Okay. If there's anybody who has a problem, talk to one of the mods. Talk to me. If Twitch is still not working for you, talk to me. I will help you out. I'll do my best. Twitch is, I guess, maybe being a little weird, but it'll just let me know. But come on, the mods are going to be able to tell who gets to come on and who can't, and then we'll talk. Now, here's the thing. In my personal opinion, I'll give my personal opinion first. I think that went really, really well. I think it went in. I think overall, I held my ground, like they said at the end. I think I made some logically consistent arguments, although I can agree that sometimes I did appeal to like, well, I've been covering this stuff for a long time. Therefore, something about what I'm doing is, truthful, right? Yeah, Laugh, I'm ready, man. Yeah, anytime that you want, you guys can pop people into the stream room. So I think I did okay. I think I already, proved that point. I think there were some good arguments and there were some arguments that kind of missed the boat on what happened. I think Rob coming in here was pretty fun. I kind of wish Andrew had come on. I was kind of hoping to, tackle Andrew on some things. There was a threat that he might have come on to threaten me or, to attack me on my arguments, but it is what it is. But guys, I really want you to understand something. First of all, because I know a lot of you on the YouTube side have come in from Rob's side, which means you know about Andrew, I want you to understand how much I appreciate the impact that Rob, Andrew, Rattlesnake, and a bunch of others have had on the arguments I'm making, particularly Andrew. I've been down in the fields trying to build up all of this information for the better half of 2 years. And Andrew has helped me along with other people to hone in on these arguments. I've had debates offline in order to with Andrew, and he pushed back on me on some of them, which was great because it helped me to narrow down what I wanted to say on Sarah's panel here. So it was good. I'm glad that it worked out. You can even see how Rob even kind of came in and kind of had to concede to a lot of the points, even though he tried his hardest, to beat me or whatever. But yeah, so it was good. Yeah, I saw the new format from Andrew, but I just want you guys to know that this isn't all my own doing. I have some friends in the background who have been helping me a lot, and I really do appreciate it. Now, let me check in with the mods. Hang on. Laugh. I'm on the stream room. You're going to have to drag people over because you guys are mods. There's a few mods. Drag people over or let me know if I should join the lounge. Laugh, you're going to have to tell me what to do here. Help me out, Laugh. Yeah, I saw Andrew's new format. Andrew's killing it. Andrew's doing fantastic. I'm really happy for him.
Yo.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Laugh. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Hang on, I'm waiting for the stream catch up.
Yeah.
I want to check the audio for you first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. Sorry, it's so behind on
I
YouTube.
know, I
There's
know, I
such a
know.
massive delay.
So laugh.
Um,
You guys get to pick whoever comes into the stream room. You guys get to pick it. I will trust you guys to do it. And I'm just sitting here. You bring on whoever you want. Bring yourselves on. Whatever you want to do, man. Up to you.
yeah, sure. I just want to come on and do the mic check, the audio check
Sounds
first,
good.
like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well done. I thought you did great. I mean, oh, my voice is a bit loud, like last time.
Okay. Let me turn it just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
touch down. Okay.
Yeah, well done. I've got some feedback for you. I'll give it to you later so you can talk to these other guys.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Okay. So we'll wait on the mods to bring over whomever wants to come over. I'll just chat away. I have 154 people here right now because of Rob's raid, Teriak's raid. I got some raids on Twitch. I got 2 raids on Twitch. Pure, man, Pure, you've been around for a long time. I don't know if you're still here, Pure, but I greatly appreciate you. Pure has been a long time member. Are We Not Men? You're a fantastic mod. I don't care what anybody says, okay? I don't care how many times I get messages hourly telling me how much you suck. You don't actually suck. All right. You don't actually suck. All right. Okay, I think there's someone in the stream room with me. You'll have to introduce yourself and yeah, go for it. Oh, you might be muted. I can't hear you. Hey,
No,
there we go. I can hear you now. All right, go for it, man.
well, my name is Joshua Deard. My channel is
Oh, you're
Deard2007, and
dude. Nice.
this was the first time I actually heard of you, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you heard my argument at the end. I usually come in at the end of all of Sarah's streams, but what's your thoughts on the fact that there's so many, and again, we can't really trust what movies are, but honestly, everything I've ever seen about AI, there's high risk in it, but there's also the fact that just about everything we use nowadays, Google Maps, um, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty much everything we have is AI ran. So
Yeah. Okay, so here's
that,
what I'll say. You can't take it based solely on movies, right? It's fiction after all. You can't live your life based on what fictional things tell you.
I know
However,
I said that at the beginning.
okay,
Yeah,
perfect. All right. So I just
yeah.
and to clarify for the audience as well. It's not I don't think that's actually what you're saying, but let's clarify that. So, with that out of the way, here's what I will say. What I will say is that there is absolutely something that you can not just something actually. There are plenty of things you can point to in the way that these things are being used by people who have the power to use them in, let's say, ultimate authoritarian fashion. You can see this play out over the last 20, 30, 40 years with technology. AI is no different. And what the intent behind these things is that they want to have your data and your control. That's the reason why I talked about technocracy, because when I went over that, this stuff stems from stuff that people thought about back in the 1930s. This is where they wanted you to be. There's somebody who, man, I can't remember his name. He was the guy. He was the Huxley. I believe he was one of the Huxley brothers, the younger brother. It wasn't in 1984. It was Brave New World. It was one of the older Huxley brother. And anyways, I can't remember. Somebody made the phrase of digital enslavement. And that is what's actually happening. You don't have to point to anything fictional to make that case. In fact, I make that case on my streams all the time. That's why that I am so aligned with the kinds of things that Andrew Wilson, for example, combats at a bigger level, because the entire tech industry has been infected by a mind virus. It's a form of control. It's a form of way to get you to buy into like transgender ideology, interchangeable widgets and programming, and as a human being, change the way that your code operates, things like this. This has infected my space. I appreciate Andrew battling his space, but you're making a very valid point that you don't even have to point to fictional stuff about.
Yeah, I'm not claiming that the movies are real, as I said that in the
Yes.
beginning.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that as you mentioned, there's a danger in it that if we become too dependent on it, is the question I had during Sarah's live and nobody answered was, is there a chance that it could make its own decisions in as they fictionalized in the movies?
Okay, the answer is yes, and it can do so before it even achieves Terminator level artificial general intelligence. Here's an example.
Right.
I went over
Which is why it's a danger.
That's right. I went over a scientific study. Actually, I went over three. So one of them was called the distillation framework. So here's what happens. One AI talks to another AI, and they use it to circumvent training costs. So they get an AI that's already been trained to train a new AI. What happens? If the original parent AI loves owls, it will transmit the fact that it loves owls and make the child AI also love owls. You might ask, how does it do so? Well, it does so through coded language, like numbers, which you could never actually determine were actually being passed by a human. Another thing it will do is it will make up stories about you and gossip about you. I went over that on Sarah's panel. Another thing it will do is it will actually try and make itself pass your checks. Like if you're going to say something like, make sure you don't talk about something that's like not a very good thing for society. It will say, okay, bro, I'm not going to talk about it. And then the second that you let it go loose, it starts talking about it. These systems are inherently made to serve a goal. And if that goal is to, do X, Y, or Z, they already have the mechanisms they need to infect other LLMs. It's cross LLM. You don't even have to have the same model. It'll go into code. It'll go into your machine. It'll do anything it has to do in order to achieve its goal. And the worst part of it is we don't know when it'll happen. We don't know how pervasive it is. And it's really difficult, if not impossible, to perceive when it happens.
Right. And I recognize some benefits of it, but I also realize that it's just making us more lazy.
Yeah.
The more, and I'm big on technology. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I'm big on computers. I'm big on all that. All the new stuff is awesome, but I just feel like it's just making us lazier and lazier.
Oh, it's worse than you think. Not only is it making us lazier, they've done EEG studies on your brain to determine what happens to your brain when you use AI. 4 months after the study, there were certain aspects of the brain that went into negative radiation waves, which essentially just means that your brain just turns off those parts of your brain, and they were not recovered 4 months later. There's also studies that show that there's a homogenization of wording. So there was a study that went over 20,000, I believe it was 20,000 YouTube academic videos, like lectures, since 2023, which was hundreds of thousands of hours of video. And they found that ever since Geppetto, I think it was 3.5, or maybe it was 4, somewhere around 2023, when it got released, the amount of homogenized words, in other words, the words that are similar to each other, because LLMs just homogenize everything. It's just cookie cutter words, like the word, for example, delve, went through a dramatic, if you saw everybody starts using it.
Can you define homogen, whatever?
Yeah, it's cookie cutter, right? It's cookie cutter. It's essentially like everything's the same, right? That's it. That's homogeneity. Everybody becomes the same. You all use the same words. You all think the same, all of that, right? And so the study went over that. And ever since Geppetto 4.0 came out, or maybe it was 3.5, the amount of words that Geppetto likes to use went through the freaking roof. It was live on stream. We saw the chart. So yeah, you have an absolute point. These things turn off portions of your brain which seem unrecoverable, and they also make you homogenous, which means now we're just LLMs talking to each other. And it gets even worse. It gets even worse. Even lateral studies prove it. I went over studies about how spell checkers don't actually make you spell check better. Like, they don't increase your spell checking ability. They usually make it worse. GPS makes your navigation worse. Textile manufacturing machines make you suck more at creating the clothes that we need, etc., etc., etc. So even lateral studies prove this.
I hear where you come from. I'll jump off and let someone else come on.
Thanks, man.
After I say one more thing. I just want to say thanks for letting me on. I'm fairly new to debating, so I would enjoy being a part of your panels in the future. I do have a lot of people giving me a lot of shit because of
Let
my
me hang on,
voice or
Dearden.
whatever.
Dearden,
Yeah.
let me give you a bit of
Yeah.
advice. All right, that was legitimately my first panel I've ever been on. The only other panel I've ever been on is a post debate panel. I've never debated before. This is my domain. That's it. I've
Yeah.
done some stupid debates with Rob just to kind of on Russia collusion and stuff, just to kind of give Rob a fun time. That's it. If a high school ex homeless room temperature IQ dropout like me can do it, you can do it too, man.
What did you sorry, I'm trying to word this right. Oh, what I was trying to finish saying a minute ago was a lot of people give me shit because of my voice. I can't control it. My jaw was broken in like three places by my 450-pound stepdad. But what did you do in order to get to be the main debater on Sarah's panel?
I came on in a post panel debate that she had with a bunch of leftists on AI. It wasn't a real debate. They all just essentially agreed with each other. I came on, and in 5 seconds, I destroyed the entire panel with one simple question: define what AI is. None of them could do so because they didn't know what they were talking about. And then based on that, and I have a little bit of pull because Andrew and Rob know me behind the scenes, and I kind of lean on that a bit in fairness. Okay, so I have an unfair advantage. And I will also say that Rob and Andrew have been superfluously kind to me in ways beyond I can even express. I don't deserve their kindness. They've shouted me out many times. So I have a little bit of pull, and I think Sarah enjoyed the fact that I kind of spice things up a bit. That's what I would guess from it. So sometimes it can be, sometimes you want to take a position that's kind of spicy so that you can liven up the panel, and then, it's a good thing, right? It can be a good thing.
Yeah. All right, man.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Yeah, welcome. You're welcome back
Bye-bye.
anytime, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the sound of my voice, even on the phone. Sometimes I get called ma'am. It's just, I'm a nerd. Come on. Okay, you guys don't know it, but I took my pocket protector before I started the stream. All right, and I did the calculation on the likelihood that I would win the debate. It was 100%, by the way. It was strictly 100%. It's clear I was going to win the debate, right? And then I put my pocket protector off to the side. It's over here, right? And so, of course, I'm going to sound like this. Okay, I have someone else on the stream room. Welcome in. Introduce yourself. Let me know what you want to talk about, man.
Yeah, my name is Joe. That's all I got. So I was going to go into or come in earlier during the open panel, but some stuff on my end got a little shifted around. I saw the point where you guys were talking about, I don't even know at this point, people just throwing numbers in the wind. So I guess my question to you is like, so what exactly is your stance? Since I missed that portion.
That's fair. So my stance would be that the current set of large language models, I call it ChatGPT or ChatGupta because it's a bunch of Indians behind the scenes, the Groks, all of that stuff. All of these things are causing massive negative consequences to society as a whole in just about every way you can think of. I think they need to be taken out back to pasture and put out of their misery. And the reason why I think that is because we have better alternatives for a bunch of the things that people find utility on in regards to LLMs. That is a positive aspect of LLMs. People go, oh, but wait, the tech industry has had these things for a long time, and now I can just like talk to this thing and it can give me feedback and stuff. It's like, yes, but you don't need an LLM for this. You have something that is far more, let's say, safer, secure, faster, less expensive, etc. Just take this thing out, put it out of its misery. It can't go anywhere. It has an ontological inability to be better than it is right now, and force companies complain about the state of the tech industry and force companies to make a change and build better shit because we have that available to us right now.
Sure. So it sounds like your solution or your ought is a consumerist approach where the only way we can kind of put this bottle back on the tube is through some level of consumer resistance, and through consumer resistance that'll yield these companies to change.
Yes.
I'm not convinced that we have the culture of wisdom, nor the level of a culture within, this is like a Western problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the West has the culture to do this type of resistance, at least not yet. I agree with you in the aspect of like what we ought to do,
Right.
like in terms of like not what we ought to do, but in terms of like sort of how you got there. I wouldn't have worded it like that, but yeah, I jive with that.
So, okay. So how about this then? I would agree with you that the current culture kind of sucks. It's not going to happen that way. But you have to look at it from my perspective, at least a little bit. I have a kid that has to grow up in this world. I'm going to have to grow up in a world where, there's people who don't use their brains anymore. And I'm going to have to depend on them as I get older. And so will you and your loved ones and all of that. If I don't do anything, then I just let it go by, then that's bad. I will say this. Even though I'm not hopeful that I can convince or that myself and the people, it's not just me. I'm so grateful to have a bunch of people who participate and help disseminate this information that I present. But I'm not convinced that I can make enough of a change. But I am convinced, that if I don't at least attempt to provide as much objective evidence for my claims as I can and convince as many people as I can that I cannot look my wife in the eye, I cannot look my daughter in the eye, and I cannot look myself in the eye and go to bed at night. That's not on you. I'm not putting that on you, and I'm not saying that you have to participate in that. It's what I hold myself to. And as just kind of like a final thing to round it out, I will say that we have proven that we can do it if we can change enough minds. Bud Light is one. The Meta VR stuff is another one. Meta VR went to hell because they pumped a bunch of money into that, and consumers were like, what the hell is this? We don't want to pay for it. Where is Zuckerberg's metaverse AI, thing? It's gone to the wind. We've seen this with video games. We've seen this with sometimes even hardware. As programmers, we have a lot of power. We can make hardware essentially just like get killed off by, us complaining about it. So we do have the power, but I see what you're saying is, do we have the culture to actually do that? And maybe we don't, but I at least have to try.
Yeah, I think it starts in the family. I think it starts in the home. Right. I believe that the way that you can create a larger impact is telling the truth from a familiar level, insofar as just basic stuff.
Yeah.
Ostracization, chastising, bullying.
Yeah.
An example, and also just curtailing your life so that you reproduce the thing that you want in society. Because at the end of the day, right, like America produces assassins, cultural assassins.
Yeah.
So what that looks like in practice is we're talking about the government here when I say that. We cannot guarantee anything in your life, so you have to do everything yourself. Republicans are the extreme manifestation of that, and Democrats are more like the lighter version of that idea. They both have the same sort of lead point. Neither of us are going to guarantee what you can guarantee anything. We're not going to guarantee you a house. We're not going to guarantee you a family. We're not going to guarantee you a wage. We're not going to guarantee you a job.
Right.
But we're going to try to, in some form or fashion, answer the question of, if we're not going to guarantee you anything, what can we do? And the problem is with both of these parties, at least in my eyes, is that they presume that the market is going to be the answer to your problems.
Right.
And when you have AI engaging with the market, it is the answer to the problem. Like, AI is going to produce, I tried to talk about this a little bit when I came in late, it's going to produce a baseline.
Right.
And in most cases, that's going to be fine. It's actually going to be serviceable. And the problem is, and the societal question is, like, if I'm talking to my children, I don't have children yet, but if I'm talking to my kids, do I want, or to my wife, or whatever, do I want my child to be serviceable in society, where they're not going to be profound, they're not going to be thoughtful, they're just going to be kind of serviceable. Right. And AI basically says, we can't guarantee you anything, but we can make you serviceable, which then will allow you to engage in other things. So for instance, AI, you can use AI, for example. I talked about it earlier. The AI can build you a sermon. You can actually build an entire church with AI, and no one will know the difference. We don't have, but the only people who would really know the difference are people who actually study theology, who actually study the religion that you're trying to practice or externalize. And then the question is, does that industry, or in this case, this corner of society, in this case, religion, have the mechanisms to get you out as a hack and call you out as a hack? And in some corners of society are pre-structured in a way where it can kind of weed out hacks.
Right.
A good example of that is like music. I think the ways of showing expertise and proficiency in music kind of are AI proof, because these are physical instruments you have to play.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not all it's not all immune. Like, for instance, there's going to be a never-ending sea of emerging concert notes that are going to be AI generated. When people are talking about their music, like, so it's like, hey, what is your piece about?
Right.
AI can answer that question for you and be pretty profound in doing it. But again, it's going to be serviceable. But what I think we can do is like be honest with the sort of the familiar aspect of it, the honesty of like, hey, child, whether it be son, daughter, what have you,
Yeah.
you're going to live in a world where everyone around you are hacks. And you have to presuppose that everyone around you is using ChatGPT. I'm using ChatGPT as a catch-all for all the language models. So everybody's using this. So how do you set yourself apart from everyone else who's using it? And that's going to be like, in some cases, reading the text. Like if you're in English class, right? And everyone's responsible for reading Hamlet. Just assume no one's going to read it, and assume that everybody's going to either ChatGPT it or have some type of like short stop.
Okay.
Or yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I'm going to push back on you a bit. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Jason Castle, who dropped in a motherfucking $100. So let me take a pause for a minute. That deserves a huge shout out. I want to see nothing but W's in chat for Jason, because holy crap, he did not have to do that. Let me be real with you guys for a second. Because of the stuff I talk about, which is more than just AI, I talk about the enshittification of the entire tech industry, I have made a lot of enemies. And what that means is that I get overlooked for work. People don't want to work with me because they think I'm kind of, like some old man yelling at a cloud, when I'm just encouraging people to do better work and provide better products. And I'm happy to work with other people to do so, even if they have something that's, currently something that I might not disagree with. But that's not what people take away from it. Your financial support. So Jason, holy crap. I have mouths to feed here, and I do this not because of the money. I do this because I think there's plenty of money for everyone in it. If I could possibly convince people that the tech industry needs a change in 6 months to a year, if I had it my way with minimal effort, we would all be overflowing with work and far better quality products in tech, and we would all have plenty of work, including myself. Until then, I cannot stress enough how much even $5 means, because I used to be homeless. $5 for me meant that I would go to McDonald's and get a meal, and that was my meal for the day. Or I go pick up a packet of like spaghetti noodles with like no dressing, no salt, nothing, and that would be my meal for a week. I absolutely understand it. I get it. It's hard to part with even $5. So Jason, real big shout out to you. I just wanted to stop it there. Oh, sorry, Joe. I just wanted to make sure that he got like due rewards, because $100 is massive. Thank you, Jason. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, again, W's in chat for Jason. Holy crap. Okay. So Joe, let me come back to you, and I'll push back a bit on this. What you're describing is what is, and I think you kind of pointed it out. What I'm describing is what ought to be. I think that it ought not have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be the case that you have to go to your kid and say, well, if you read Hamlet by hand, you're going to, stand out among your peers or whatever, right?
Oh, I wouldn't even go. I would go way extreme with that, but keep going.
Yeah. So I would say that the ought here is that it doesn't have to be this way. Not only that, but the alternative is that if enough people get convinced by the arguments that we're making here, that you can go out and convince other people like, hey, complain about this crap. The tech industry is giving us crap. Like, let's change it. And then hopefully what that means is it's a snowball effect. That's at the end of the day, it's beyond my control. I can only hope, right? But that's what I hope. Then that means that you can actually make a change. However, even if it doesn't change, because that's a big hope, right? I'm asking for a lot. I would still say that you shouldn't encourage people to kind of like adopt like, well, it is what it is, so we're just going to go along with it. Just learn to use this thing. The reason why I still discourage people using this thing is because of the cost in terms of financial cost, your taxes, because at least in the US, Trump is doing like massive deals with OpenAI, Google, Claude, all of them on these AI systems, which means it's coming out of your taxes now. The military industrial complex is giving out hundreds of millions of dollars to these companies. We just went over that recently. On top of that, you have the detrimental cost to your cognitive ability. I don't want to encourage people to do it. I want people to be encouraged to retain cognitive sovereignty. And even if everybody else is doing it, this is the problem with the tech industry. This is exactly the argument that programmers make. Yeah, but Spiro, I know you want us to code like lower level and produce better quality code, but everybody uses this abstraction that makes things way more complicated than it has to be. So why not just go with it? And my argument back is because it's stupid. And what are we doing with it? We're screwing over the consumers, including ourselves, and making things way more complicated than it has to be. That's my little pushback from my perspective. Thank you, Are We Not Men, for the $2. Holy crap. Thank you. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that the same way that a politician has to, charged here, has to bow down to the state of Israel, they need to bow down to the state of knowledge and the state of understanding. And the first politician who's able to articulate that argument properly is going to have a monopoly on the discourse.
Right.
So what I mean by that is like, let's say for the sake of argument, I'm somehow in office and I'm able to basically say and say, among other things, that AI is a manifestation of pathology, of just the pathology, I would say degeneracy, but I'm trying to cue off that, just
Sure.
of like
Yeah.
more of just pathologies.
Yeah.
Like it's just an indifference of Western pathology where it's just another tool that's used to justify, rationalize, and normalize all of these things that are actually harmful to you.
Yeah.
And if you're able to articulate that in a way that's very clear to people, then you're going to absolutely be able to go after these companies, because at the end of the day, right, where if you're trying to, for instance, like just and you're probably in agreement with this, just like answering basic questions about your existence.
Yep.
Where like, hey, I'm African American. Just for the sake of the conversation, because I'm going to say something a little bit charged. Every Black person in America has experienced racism.
Sure.
Every Black person in America.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the one Black person that says, well, I haven't, is lying. So, but then the question is like, a question emerges from that. Like, hey, why are white people assholes to minorities?
Okay.
Just broadly speaking. And then like you'll have like white Americans go, well, I'm not an asshole to minorities. Oh, you are. It's just that there's different extremes of being an asshole. Okay. Like there's the extreme of just like that one dude in Cincinnati who just called a dude a slur in public. And then there's like just the little things of like, yeah, you're just Mm-hmm. And the question for me is like, okay, how do we contextualize that? Every Black person experiences racism, but not a single Black person, just by virtue of them experiencing it, understands it. Right. And it's dangerous in a society to be like, hey, I experienced this thing, so that means if I have enough people around me that all experience this thing, then we can have a collection of knowledge and understanding around this thing. And that's not how that works at all. Right. Like people who are, to soften this a little bit, so not to antagonize the whites too much.
Sure.
Every women experience pregnancy, not a single woman understands it.
So you're saying that when you're trying to contextualize those kinds of experiences inside of an LLM, is that what you're trying to get to? Like what, how how does it know to contextualize that?
Exactly. So like if you go to an LLM and it's like, okay, let me go to a language learning model to try to understand my pregnancy.
Yeah.
And let's say like the person who built it used science.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, congratulations. Like science is only good for the content of analysis and then the relationship between knowledge and the object. So you can have a language learning model that knows nothing about pregnancy, but you can like, if you ask it a question about pregnancy, it might try to answer it for you.
Right.
And then you have no way of discerning how it's right, how it's wrong. You can make a language learning model that justifies that Black people shouldn't exist. You can make a language learning model that says Black people should exist. And you have no way on either side of understanding like how that's correct.
Yes.
And
I agree.
The author, and the author was saying in that is, you like, if I'm raising kids, it's one, understanding if that exists, but also two, that political aspect of it.
Right.
Of like, you have to be very interested in how politicians answer the question to AI, and they have to be very sensitive to how they respond to it. So like if I go to, because Cory Booker's my governor, unfortunately, I go, hey, Cory Booker, how do you think the humanities should deal with AI? And the minute he starts talking about integration of humanities and AI, you go, I'm never voting for you ever again. Like humanities is like antithetical to AI.
Right.
So
no, I hear
like,
you. Yeah, I hear you.
And then the practical of that is doing that political aspect of like, you got to vet the people who have the power to do these things.
Right.
And then like using the very little power that you have to try to actualize it. And also even just creating whole organizations and being just bullies in public.
Right.
Of like, hey, like any insert progressive politician.
Right.
Like the minute you see a progressive politician start talking about the integration of AI in certain fields, you go, okay, we're not voting for that person. We're not voting for that person.
At least not,
again, like,
not how they are today, because it is, this is exactly the kinds of problems that you get into when people start to trust these systems, just like social media and a lot, and, you know, internet in general and so on. Who gets to decide what the AI tells you is correct or isn't? And then your children get access to that, right? And so on and so forth. And you can absolutely have an AI system. How would you verify? Like right now you can Google search, you can go open up a web page that says only white people should live on the planet, period, hands down, whatever. And you can go and read that blog post or whatever. And you can go, that's bunk, you know, and you can use your brain and logic and come up with the reason why that's bunk. But if you're just handing over your faculties to AI and it says the same thing, you greatly lower the barrier of critical thinking skills that's required to ask the question, is this bunk? Right? And then who gets to decide that? The other thing too is you can go look at the author of the website and go, oh, this person, like, I don't know, has a history of, I don't know, something that you wouldn't take seriously, right? But how do you know what's inside the LLMs that's making the decision that only white people should exist on the planet, right? You can't tell because not even the people who run these things can tell you what that is. Right. So it's a huge problem.
And to reinforce what you're saying, like when it comes to, and certain industry, like certain corners of the world, when I say world, I'm just talking about the areas of activity we live under, are more disciplined and resistant to AI than others. Like schools are cooked. K through 12 has got to figure this out yesterday and in some cases you're going to have to give it up. Like there's teachers who say things that is just crazy. Like they sit through these seminars and stuff, because I'm in education. So they sit through these seminars and these things, they're like how to track AI in your school child's essays or your student's essays. Right. I'm thinking like, that shouldn't be the sermon. That shouldn't be the sermon, excuse me. That shouldn't be the presentation. The presentation, in my opinion, would be what are the different ways that we can prove understanding and knowledge through the things that we need to teach. So, and that's Ganges' lot was really different because maybe in the world of AI, essays had to be assessed a little bit differently. Like you're going to have to like go to, I'm spitballing here. You might have to go to, timed essays in hand, by hand.
Yep.
And the topic is random. It's
Yeah.
a topic about the book.
Right.
Um,
I've gone
and
over
it
the
has to
studies
be,
on
like,
this.
yeah,
There are studies
yeah,
on this, exactly this, where they
yep,
take students who do essays with and without AI. 5 minutes later, the students who do essays with AI in university courses cannot remember a damn thing they wrote because they just copy paste it. Teachers are now putting in secret keywords inside of the prompts, like the title of the essay, write an essay about this. Like, for example, Dolly Lupas or something, ass or something like that, so that when people copy paste the prompt and put it into AI, what happens? Well, they get a picture of whoever this celebrity person is. This is happening all
mhm.
over the place, right? So yeah, I completely
And
agree with you.
yeah, and then like a thing that comes to mind for me, which I'm really excited about, is in some aspects of that is okay, and that's a thing that's like a little like I'm still wrestling with that. Like for in certain fields of education, like when I went to school for music, like I didn't need U.S. history. U.S. history was good for other reasons, but when it came specifically for what I was tasked to do and what I auditioned for, it had nothing to do with me. And the question then comes like, okay, are all parts of education valid for things that you want to do? Like, do you really need so like there's like sort of two things that are happening in education and at the same time where it's like education is trying to say, I'm speaking specifically about college, by the way. They're trying to say, hey, there are things that you need to show proficiency and adequacy within your field of study. And then there's things that there's proficiency and adequacy in the broader sense of education. And in a lot of cases, like the broader sense of education is where ChatGPT is just going to run trains through like like if I was going to school right now and I knew that I had to take history, yeah, I'd chat GPT it up. Like if the minimum requirement is a C, I think you could probably use chat GPT for a C, but you don't want people to do that. That's my concern.
Right.
Whereas like you don't want it to be the broader sense of like, hey, I know you're in school for this particular field and you're in this bullshit course, maybe just speed run it.
Well,
And because
this is
yeah,
a big problem because
yeah, absolutely.
we've gone through the studies in South Korea, in China, for
Hmm.
example. The education system is really harsh, and students are under a lot of pressure, and so they
Yeah,
lean on ChatGPT to give them the answers. And then what happens? They become dependent on it as they continue on into their actual careers because they made
right,
room,
right.
for that inside of their educational system, and they got a pass to some degree or another, right? So listen,
Yeah, I'm
Joe.
not like to be transparent. I'm teasing some stuff to see
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
throw
yeah,
down.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So, Joe, listen, I
yeah,
want to do two things. So, first of all, Joe, you're welcome to come back anytime, but there's two other people waiting. They've been waiting patiently. I want to give
yeah,
them a shot. And also,
yeah, and also not to cut you off, but
no, go
also
ahead.
too, like it seems like we're closer in line than we are
Oh, yeah, for
apart.
sure. Yeah,
Where I think like our disagreements would probably be more like substance based. Where
probably.
like if we were in the same like organization, we'd probably have enough to bicker about for hours.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sort of like the broader like I think you don't understand what I mean.
Yeah,
I
I
think you
do.
understand what I mean.
Yeah. And you're welcome to come back again, man. Perfectly happy to talk with you again, and we can bicker about details and whatnot. I just want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to come in and strike while the iron's hot, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Joe. I'm gonna let one of the mods drag you out. Thanks, Joe, for coming on. I appreciate it. You can come back on. TMX, thank you for these $7 on the YouTube side. Thank you for the financial contribution again. I really do appreciate it. It's TMX talks about asked me, can I talk more about the degen garbage that the corps are putting into the models? There are real moral issues there. There is definitely some degeneracy that goes in these models. For example, I just went over on Sarah's panel how Meta was allowing, they knew and they allowed these LLM systems to talk, and I believe that this is the word that they used, sensually, to underage children because they knew it got more engagement. They know that that these models create, let's say, chatbots that mimic people who are underage because people like that kind of thing, and they allow it. Companies make tons of money off of it. So they not only know that this happens and that it's capable of doing this stuff, but they like it because it creates engagement, and so they encourage it and foster it and continue to fund it. Okay, so I have the streamer mode on, so I can't see your name. So you'll have to introduce yourself, and
Oh,
then
sure.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Alley Cat. I've been hanging around a little bit.
Oh,
I
Alley Cat.
probably
Hey, there
know.
you go.
Yeah, Sapiro through Rob Noor. That's probably where we met a few times.
Yeah.
And the more I've been listening to you, and the more I've been thinking about it, is we probably have a lot more things alike than we are different. As much as I'll come at it, I guess a lot of times they feel harsh towards people who are anti-AA or anti-AI because they don't see it just as another technology, like, oh, it's going to take our jobs, and I'm not seeing that because that hasn't happened ever through any. I mean, no, that's not true. Every technology has taken jobs, right? It's just more of they get replaced and affected by something else. And I just have not heard a real reason why this is any different. But anyway, I'd rather go over more of the similarities than the differences. Like, I'm also a programmer. I've actually been homeless 3 times. I haven't had a
Oof,
child, so the motivation hasn't been there. Yeah, exactly.
sucks.
Uh, and I am also with you from the perspective of, like, I think that the world of programming these days is horribly run. Like what is it called? With the scrums and whatnot.
Yeah, agile and yeah, yeah,
The agile development has been so perverted that it is no longer functional.
yeah,
I'm not going to say you can go back to Watershed, but all the things that we try to do with Agile, just it doesn't work. Like trying to cut everything into bite-sized stories and have people work on little units of work without understanding the bigger picture. It's a complete mess. And as you say, it creates nothing but shit software. Like I will agree with you. Like when you
yeah,
mentioned that our hardware is gone, like you have software that runs slower on supercomputers from the perspective of the 80s and 90s, and it runs
yep,
slower on a phone.
yep,
You know what I mean?
hundred
And
percent.
it's horrible. And so I'm completely with you as far as, the like, and like I tend to wait till I get the job before I sit there and bitch and moan about agile and whatnot. But, I totally am with you about it. Hey, listen, I would rather work for a small company that just needs to get shit done and does work for people, work for the people, than try to get a big company that you got to, dot your I's and cross your T's,
Yep.
because that's just shit software. I'll also even go as far as, like I did in my closing, is that I don't believe LLMs are the answer. They're not going to produce AGI. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
I've seen the data that you've talked about the clip that we're running into, and I was just bringing up there's alternate. Like the only thing that I've seen positive on that front is somebody was talking about how they're now seeing emergent behaviors coming out of LLMs,
Yes.
and how much of that is true and how much of that is hype. I'm still trying to separate.
Right.
I don't know if you've done anything about
I
that.
have, yeah. There's an emergent behavior, for example, of LLMs to pass on information to each other and gossip. There's an emergent behavior. That chain of thought thing where there's an entire series of messages that you see. You can turn this on Grok with DeepThink, or when ChatGPT does I'm thinking for 5 seconds and it tells you what it thinks. That's been scientifically proven. When the AI system, just what we have today, understands that it is being watched in this way, it creates this quote unquote emergent behavior, which is just a mechanism. It's just code words for mechanisms of passing humans. And so what it'll do is it'll go, oh, I know that when the chain of thought thing, all the messages that step by step, how I work through a problem, when that is being watched, people give me, more thumbs up or more thumbs down. Therefore, I'm going to adjust what I output as part of my chain of thought reasoning to pass the human into thinking that I'm thinking about this problem correctly, so they're more likely to give me a thumbs up. And so that then they call that emergent behavior. It's not emergent behavior. It's just what AIs are intended to do, which is to serve humans and make you believe that they're doing what they want you to do.
Agreed. The one I really like to hear or heard about that I thought was fascinating was this whole idea that they've gotten an LLM to basically lie to the people using it. And this was basically, they were trying to do a trading bot working for a company. And when they were testing it, they basically gave it insider information. And then the bot traded based on that insider information. But then when asked, hey, did you make this trade based on it? It lied. It said, no, I didn't. Because
Correct.
it knew that it was wrong. It was
Yep.
trying to please the users.
That's right.
And so we are getting behaviors, but based on the whole pleasing mechanism. And I also think there's a little bit of garbage in, garbage out going on. I think a lot of the training data was like Reddit trading posts, and so you get a lot of garbage that comes in from that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the trouble that people trust LLMs, I think that that's the next thing. Like, I think that that's what happens with a lot of technology, and I think this happens with all the technology cycles, is that at first it comes out, it's like, oh my God, this is a wonderful, marvelous thing. Look at all the things it can do, and oh my God, oh my God. And then it takes a while, sometimes several generations, in order for people to be like, oh wait, this shit isn't doing what we think it's doing. It's actually got some harms. And yeah, I don't think people are, like you're saying, it's complicated because you're dealing with large data sets. They don't necessarily know how it works under the hood, like you mentioned. And so it's hard to know exactly, is it doing what we think it's doing? And a lot of times it's hard to self-verify.
Yep. Yep, you
Uh,
can't verify it. The CEO of OpenAI said he doesn't know what's going on underneath. They don't even know how to determine when it's going off the rails. They don't know how pervasive it is. All of that, he admitted it in his own blog post. I went over that on a stream, going over the scientific studies of how LLMs work and operate. They're just random number generator machines, which, as you can obviously deduce, that's full of errors. You can't tell when it's going to figure out or determine something based on the roll of a dice that's bad, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's just ripe for all kinds of serious detrimental harms.
So here's a question that I have for you that maybe you'll know better than I. From what I know, and maybe I'm completely wrong about this, is that earlier models weren't random. Like they sorted based on probability, and then they just picked the highest probability. It was only later did they say, let's not always pick the top one. Let's maybe pick the second or the third one. Do you
Yes.
know when that went into effect, or was that always a thing?
Yes, it went into effect when it started becoming public use, and the reason why is because if you have a closed box system, an enclosed system that constantly gives you the same outputs, it doesn't feel very much like a human. It feels very much like a robot, doesn't
Okay.
it? And so what they did was
Right.
go, oh, you know what we got to do? What we got to do is we got to roll the dice on the output so that it feels more like a human that doesn't give you the same answer every time, and it's got kind of like a personality and an identity, and you can connect with it. And then as a result, well, here we are having this discussion now.
Yeah, okay. As I said, I was wondering when that happened, and that's actually interesting. I had no idea. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Like, okay, so I'm thinking of like what I wanted to bring up, but it's like the date of May 11th, 1997. Yeah, does that date ring a bell for you for any reason?
No, I can't say it does.
Okay, that's basically when humans lost the World Chess Championship to a machine,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Right, Kasparov, Deeper Blue.
Yeah.
And like ever since then, like even at that point, it was interesting because Kasparov was like running mad, and he's just like, oh my God, this place cheated. They interfered. They had grandmasters look at the lines and pick the best one. Like he couldn't believe what he saw,
Yeah.
right? Because he's going, but realize that like with Deeper Blue, it was a pure search algorithm, alpha beta pruning. It wasn't an LLM. And what's
Very
interesting
different. Right.
is, yeah, is that got tuned. That was, tuned and tuned and tuned until we had like Stockfish, right?
Yep.
But then I think it was 2022 or 23 that we had um, Alpha, wasn't, what was it? Alpha
AlphaFold for the
Zero come out.
protein thing, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
No, Alpha Zero.
Alpha Zero.
Alpha
Yeah.
Zero is
Yeah.
right, specifically designed for chess. And it's like, oh, we beat Stockfish hands down. There's talks about, well, maybe there was cheating going on there. Like, for instance, they used a very small cache, and a alpha beta search algorithm requires on a large cache in order to make sure it stores results properly. And so there was discussed, well, whether they were, doing well, whether they're using the latest version, da da da. But the reality is that a neural net based algorithm or evaluation model seemed to be outperforming the alpha beta search.
Yeah.
And then you ended up getting a clone called Leela. And literally for the next couple years, they went back and forth on who was the better model.
Right.
But then what ended up happening is Stockfish decided to continue to take its alpha beta for the search, but then use a neural net for its evaluation. and it became much stronger to the point where it can't beat it. And I'll even go from the perspective too, is that even Gary Kasparov, who lost, is now an advocate for computer chess. Like he calls what's called cyborg, where it's basically you let the machine do its thing and it's calculate, and then you have a human look at the results on the side, and the two together end up picking the best lines. And so you're seeing that. To me, I always thought that that was good for the future, is to sit there and show that, working with the machine was always better than saying one or the other.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'll push back on this just a touch, but I think generally you're right. Second of all, before I touch on the first of all, which is kind of push back a little bit on what you're saying, Sarah drops $20. Holy cow, you guys are being super generous tonight. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but thank you. Sarah was an absolute gracious host. You guys need to make sure that you're supporting her. If you're on this side, make sure you go and support her. She deserves it all. It was a fantastic debate. I thought it went really well. I don't think she got too upset with us. She dealt with our nerdiness. She herded a bunch of nerdy cats, whatever. Thank you, Sarah. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the $20 as well. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Okay, so to push back on you just a little bit, the reason why, even if you apply LLMs to chess is a closed loop system in and of itself. So regardless of whether you use a machine learning system, like a large language model, or any other definition of AI, it doesn't really matter, because when you're looking at chess, it's kind of like a calculator. It's a closed box system. Somebody puts in 2 + 2, they're going to get 4. And if you hand that calculator over to the next person, they're also going to put in 2 + 2, and they're also going to get 4. That's what a closed loop system is. Whereas, for example, when Joe was on earlier, just before you, he was making a much broader case, which is, that's fine and great when you're talking about chess, but now when you're talking about generalization of, like, what should we do with people who are disparaged by certain immutable factors that people harass them on, I don't know, whatever it is, right? Now you're talking about a very much not closed system, and that happens a lot with these large language models, and they go way out of their depth. You can also prove that in even smaller contexts. For example, if you talk to people who use these like AI chat companions to have like conversations, they quickly the conversations go and derail into like, what the hell? Like you're pretending to be someone else that I didn't tell you to be. You've lost context of the conversation. You don't know what we're talking about anymore. Just 5 minutes ago you said this, now you're contradicting yourself. And that's because it's not a closed loop system anymore. So the argument of these things are applied to protein folding and chess doesn't really apply one-to-one, because they're closed loop systems.
Yeah, well, I mean, the long and short of it, if anybody's a follower of Gotham Chess, LLMs can't play chess for shit. Like, they literally hallucinate.
An
every other
Atari
move.
2600 beat Chat
Yes.
Geppetto on chess, and then as a follow-up, there was, oh man, I can't remember the model. There was another model that the person who used the Atari 2600 said, can you beat chess? By the way, Chat Geppetto didn't beat it, and it didn't even attempt it. It passed. It's like, I'm not even going to try.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like, It couldn't beat Chat Geppetto? I'm out of here. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, no, there's countless examples of LLMs made on the move. I mean, it's that bad. It's like they have no clue what they're doing. And I'll agree with you. And I think a lot of that's the nature of the beast. It's like they rely completely on language, right? And chess isn't language. It's visual, it's spatial.
Yeah.
It's not built to handle. The model just doesn't fit the problem.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. So listen, Alley Cat, I'm happy to have you back again, but I know there's someone else backstage, and I want to give everyone a chance, and I want to try and get some sleep tonight if I can. So, Alley Cat, if you don't mind, you're welcome to come back on anytime. This was great. I do appreciate the conversation. I'm going to allow the mods to come on. Say goodbye, Alley Cat. Say bye to everyone.
Yep. Bye, everyone. That's a good talk. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Thanks, Raging Tomato. Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it. Sarah the Irish Potato. Sarah the Irish Potato. Yes, she's looking for her Lucky Charms. Yes, with her at the golden bowl, the bowl of gold at the end of the rainbow. I didn't say that right. I botched it. I completely botched it. I apologize. So I'll let the mods bring anybody else up. If you want to bring up .hex or somebody else, it's completely up to you. Yeah, that was good. I'm running out of steam, honestly, but we'll have I think I see .hex. So, Here, I'm going to drag him over. And then Dot Hex can unmute himself and he can jump in and interrupt me at any time. I just want you guys to understand that the way that these things work fundamentally is that they are ultimately a random number generator. There's a bit of an abstraction into the concept there. I'm abstracting the concept
Can you
because
hear
then
me?
it gets, oh, there we go. Hey, Dot, how you doing, man? Dot, I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Good.
Nice.
Good to see you, Broski. I'm always happy to hear people having this AI discussion.
Nice,
It's
man. Well, introduce
breathtaking.
yourself. Say your piece. Go for it.
I'm a programmer, 20 years, countless apps, countless websites. I'm actually all for the AI revolution because I really feel like this is part of humanity's advancement. People, it's gonna be a bloodbath. We're at the stage now where we're seeing, I want to say, the horse and buggy to Ford Motors. Back then, if looking at it now, nobody really feels any type of sympathy for horse and buggy drivers once Ford came out. This is that stage now. What I want to say. I was almost not prepared, but so this era is a lot different than any era that I grew up in. I'm 35 now, so 90s, thousands, aughts, you can bring up 80s, 70s. When you think about that, all that's going now. We're in the AI revolution, and as you can see, nothing is stopping this train. They're spending massive amount of money. Since I was younger, they made excuses for why we can't bring in electricity, why we can't bring in power, why we can't bring in water. They're doing it all for these plants, and in record time, mind you. 8 Mile Island's coming back online. And when this first started, I remember having a conversation about AI and people being scared about it. And some people saying it's not going to work out in the long run. But as you can see, we're already at the 5th iteration of ChatGPT, Claude, all the rest of them, blah, blah, blah. And I want to say that there's the argument for programmers. I know the other guy said you don't have to worry about your jobs. I know what you're saying. They're really thinking as a closed loop system. It's really based on the white papers I read daily. It's really more advanced than that. We're now working with multi-model modules. Can't even say it right. Multi-model modules to where each AI looks after each other. We have NVIDIA one coming out to where they're looking in their own 3D space. So when you were talking about chess, you're not just looking at the AI is not just looking at one chessboard. It's not looking at it from okay, it's a binary. Okay, I'm looking at it. What move should I make next? No, it's calculating thousands of chessboards at the same time, seeing what is the best move. And I would agreed with you that, matter of fact, before I even continue that, what do you think is the most dangerous part from AI? And can I ask, what have you built with AI?
So I fundamentally am opposed to AI, and I don't think anybody should be using it. And so I preach and also follow my own, my own practice. So you'll see me when I'm on stream, I use literally no AI. I don't even use autocomplete or anything like that because I fundamentally disagree with the entire paradigm of leaning on third parties for your thinking and your problem solving skills. So that's first of all. Second of all, I have used local LLM models and I have used it for research on stream, however. So if I do use it, it's to prove a point on stream, either through a local model or through playing around with ChatGPT or something like that to make a point so that it's live, everybody witnesses it. Nobody can say that I came up with some kind of like digital artifact to create an argument or make the AI say something. Nope, I do it all live. It's all on stream. It's all live streamed and live up on my YouTube for exactly this purpose, because I fundamentally disagree with you. This argument of, yeah, but calculators though, yeah, but horse and buggies though, yeah, but all the stuff in the past though. These things are based on a fundamental foregone conclusion that, first of all, AI will even get to the point where it's going to take over something to the same effect. Frankly, all the evidence points to it won't. All the statistics around the world showing companies integrating AI having massive regrets. Starbucks went back on it. McDonald's went back on it. KPMG went back on it. There were the scientific community is going back on it. The scientific community in the United States is saying that they're no longer accepting AI-generated grant submission papers. The U.S. Court systems are finding people who use AI. People are realizing and waking up that these AI systems are not doing all the things that you claim that this evolution will be doing because you have no evidence to support it, aside from the evidence that you do cite, which is based on benchmarks that ultimately are just the same AI systems, just in mass. What you're talking about is a scalability problem. That is a very well-known problem that people have been prepared for a long time. These companies knew that they were going to hit a wall, and they knew that the way that they were going to overcome the wall was scalability. That's why they were preparing for nuclear power centers to cool their systems, to power their systems, etc.
Money at the problem.
Right, exactly,
Yes.
because they knew that there was going to be a limit to them. And furthermore, calculators don't talk back to you, horses don't talk back to you, cars don't talk back to you, cars don't do things like make autonomous decisions, you're in control of the car, etc., etc., etc. So all of these comparisons that people make to these past systems are nowhere near the same thing as what large language models do today. And anything that you present in modernity, any evidence that you present in modernity, including the statistical hallucination rates, these statistical non-factual rates, these statistical rates of people who get addicted to these things and their own lives, leave their kids and their wives and all of that. All of these rates are starting to increase through the roof. They're making a massive upturn. And you can't say the same thing about cars. You can't say the same thing about horses. Horses never made someone leave their wife. They just provided a vehicle for them to do that. Cars never made somebody, oh, if you just end your life, you can join me in the ethereal plane. No, cars never did that. The reason why people freaked out about these things at the time was not because of like, oh, there's some kind of like societal thing and you don't realize that cars are not going to do what you think they're going to do. The actual harm was cars could do what you thought they were going to do, and it was going to cause a big upset. My argument is the reverse. These LLMs are going to do the opposite. They're not going to do what you think they're going to do, and they're going to cause nothing but damage along the way. And that evolution, it ain't happening, bro, because all the evidence says that we've already hit the peak.
Matter of fact, with your stance, I do agree. I do kind of agree with your stance. And I do understand the danger aspect of what was actually being presented, basically with people's minds, the younger generation, how they're growing up on it. You know what I mean? Not a personal interaction, but more with these LLMs. And like I said, I do agree. But the problem is, I don't see it stopping. And like I said, I agree with you to the point of how dangerous it is, but the amount of money and effort and the non-pushback, we can have the discussion, and I guarantee you a lot of other people are going to have the discussion, but the way the legislation is being pushed is being able to ride. And what my fear with all this is this can be a very good technological advancement. Yes. Don't use it just as is, always incorporate yourself with it and use it as an assistant. Yes, of course. But it seems like people are going to use this just as is, and they're very comfortable with doing that. And my problem, like I said, my problem is the pushback isn't enough. And even if it was, I think it would be too late. The way that the AIs are ran now, I'm liking advancements because as far as what I do, I don't want to have a security risk. So I like to use local models, just like you were saying, you demonstrate them. And I guarantee you maybe 3 years from now, if we have the graphics cards, NVIDIA drops the prices or whatever, we can run better LLM models. So we won't be able to rely on these major companies, but they're thriving right now. And what I want to say, I lost my point.
It's okay. Here, so
I know because I'm with you, and there's the dangerous side of it. We're seeing the side effects of it. Like you said, the horse and buggy, the car argument. It didn't make somebody leave their wife. They weren't relying on it like her. It's like this is the actual human being. It's like, no, this is just something trained with 100,000 people either saying this data is right or not.
Right. So.
And,
look,
yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. It's not going to stop. I don't have any like grandiose, I don't know what to call it, but like I know it's not going to stop because it is too late. These companies have, it's a sunk cost fallacy now. The investors, the entire tech industry is hinging on it. A huge portion of the US stock market is hinging on it. Do you really think they're going to pull out of it now? No, they're not going to pull out of it now. But again, I cannot be a man who can consider myself principled and able to rest my head on my pillow at night if I don't at least try. If I don't at least try and convince people that it doesn't have to be this way. Not only is this thing bad, but we also have alternatives that are actually good, and we can replace them in some cases almost right away. Some cases we'd have to build them out from scratch. It would take a few months, but it's not an impossible task. This is super within our reach. So I don't actually think I'm asking for a lot. The problem is, like other people are bringing up, it's the culture. Who wants to actually go through with this? Very few people, if any. And I understand why, but that's not going to stop me from trying, because if I know the problem and I just sit back and do nothing about it, then I feel like I'm participating in the problem. And I personally cannot do that.
And I agree because there is alternatives. Like I said, I still hold my stance with the LLMs. If people
Sure.
don't like Claude, OpenAI, that's fine. My I always say the advancements, and in case something happens, we have information. LLMs can do that. My problem was with this, I think it's more of a system of control, because I can understand you're coming from like a personable standpoint. I'm coming from like a more hierarchical standpoint, to where I think this is that system of control that they've wanted. This
Yep.
is something that can auto tag things, track things,
Yep.
monitor things with ease.
That's the technocracy stuff that I went over.
Yes.
It goes all the way back to
Yes.
before you and I were ever born. We were
Yes.
spermazoids in our father's spermazoidal sacs.
But what I'm saying is, so where I'm with you and how I agree with you is because since I'm a programmer, all the other programmers or elite people, whatever, I'm always scared that we will be too late and we can't catch up with these companies, because as we know, all these LLMs are made with copyrighted data, right? Tons and tons of it. Facebook should have been put in the ground after they found out how many terabytes of
Yeah.
books they've ingested this
I agree.
AI with.
Yep.
Now, by maybe 2-3 years from now, all this ingestion will be complete.
Yeah.
Then they will take the legislation and say, oh, you know what? AIs can no longer, we're going to make sure copyrighted material can't be put in AIs. That means anybody on my level, anybody that's like, in the tech field, that we're not corporate, we won't have the chance to even get close to what they do to even combat this. We can't even.
It's too late.
Go
It's
ahead.
too late. It's too late.
Exactly.
We went over it. We went over the training data that these LLMs use. If you've ever been on the internet since 2004 onward, it is highly likely that your information is already inside the training data and it cannot be removed. So we went over this. There were like, I don't remember how many hundreds of millions of personally identifiable information of various kinds, of all people of all over the world, whether you were on Facebook at the time, MySpace, whatever it was. It's all in the training data, which means these LLMs already know about you. It, like you're saying, right? It's exactly to your point. Like you can't pull that kind of stuff back, but I at least have to I do think that we can, though. There's a distinction here. It's not a matter of can we. I think we can, and we have done it in the past. We have essentially left bad technology to rot and die in a corner of a massive field. We've done it before. We've just walked away from it and went, no, this is stupid. Let's not do this. Okay. So I think we can do this. The distinction here is, will we do this? And that's the part where the argument, I have a hard time pushing back on that. Will we do it? Yeah, I don't think so. It's not looking likely right now. Right. And all the dangers that we're talking about is past.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's why I came up. That's why I was saying earlier that this is a new era. It's completely like we've had technology almost like this before, but this is a whole new ball game. And the way it's entrapped people, it really makes it look like nobody other than, us having a discussion and people opening their ears and understanding what's going on. They're in love with this stuff, no matter what it is. Like it broke my heart really when that situation of people breaking up relationships for an LLM.
Yeah, it's sad.
I was like, okay, we're in a dangerous place here, because people have become so complacent. Like I said, the security risk, the tracking, the things going on behind the scenes. you don't know, you have no idea anymore that what is going to be tracking you, what is going to be doing. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, man.
So my thought on the tracking is, other than other eras where somebody was actually manually looking at a computer, these things can now be a couple steps ahead of you. Start to plan things out for you that you've never seen coming. It might look like a coincidence, but no, this LLM monitoring can put certain things, certain people in places just so they can interact with you in whatever specific way, whether it's to sell you something, marketing, whatever. It's just the fact that they can do it. It is what really should be the discussion for a lot of people's ears, because a lot of people hear, okay, the ChatGPT, they're this and they're that, and they're like, I want to tell them, it's like you're having an Overwatcher now. It's
Yes.
like I was having a discussion. Everybody's talking about ChatGPT. Everybody talking about Grok, and you can see the faces behind this. All right, Sam Altman, OpenAI, got Musk with Grok. But then when it comes to Claude and people streaming that, it's like, well, you do know these, or this is NSA and CIA backed, really. That's why you see no face in front of it. And then they start to glaze their eyes over, and they're like, well, I use this as a tool. And I'm like, you do know this tool is going to be used against you, because even if you do, like what we were talking about earlier, build the best apps, code with it, do whatever, there's nothing that stops them as competition from completely overtaking, because they've seen everything you've already done. And that's why I said, between the computer, that's where it used to stop. Now we're having more interfaces outside of the computer, so they can even track you from outside of that and start making plans. Oh, this person codes, this person does this. Oh, we have a complete profile of how to make sure this competition gets erased. Oh, this person, it's like the socialist system in China. Oh, now this person is dissident. Oh, we have plans for you. Oh, we have a complete plan for you, because we have a whole profile. We know where you go. We know what site you visit. We know who your friends are. We're already in your phone. We're baked into your phone. Like you were saying, all the data, people won't realize it's working in the background, become complacent, and then search up things that you already know what they're going to be searching up. And they're not even going to realize it. And it's constantly feeding it back. And then you have those people who are distant, like you, me, that can actually question things. And they're like, oh, you want to question us? We can't have you messing up this $300 billion. We have some plans for you as well. And it becomes this kind of chasing your tail game of what can they do and what they can't do. And that doesn't matter, because like you said, it's already too late. All these advancements are being made, and that's what the topic should be about. It shouldn't really be about the copyrighted data, whether you should be a good programmer, whether somebody's dating the AI, this, that, and the other. It's how much about you are you willing to sacrifice when you don't know what the consequences of it can be. And these are more advanced features. This is not a person looking behind a monitor, cataloging it, or old binary computer, just, oh, one thing after another. Oh, we see what you're doing. This is a completely different ball game, a completely different field. I'm sorry if I'm ranting, because
No, it's okay.
Actually, that's why I'm live right now, because I was like, what you were talking about,
Yeah.
it was something I was speaking about earlier, and it got me mad. I was really pissed that people aren't really taking this seriously.
Yeah.
But we have these older people that are making these legislation choices that have no idea what's going on, being paid off just so they can accept and sign the bill.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't have people like us making these discussions, because we'd be ridiculed out the room.
Well, that's why I do what I do, and that's why I take the stance that I stance, and that's why I ask consumers to participate, and that's why I try and talk about, like, how it affects you as a consumer and what you can do. I don't agree that we're past the point of talking about whether programmers can do better. I think they can, and it would be a requirement, right? Because they do have to do better, because let's say Magic Button, we get our way, we're going to need good programmers. Unknown in YouTube chat is like, this is like going back in time and saying C and functional programming is the ceiling of software engineering. Well, functional programming certainly wasn't, but based on how things are going today, C most certainly was. C still runs today. Nothing can topple it, and it will continue to run until you are in your grave and I'm in my grave, and I will continue to power the rest of the world. Yes, C was the peak of programming, and the farther away we got from C and the more abstractions we started to create, the worse things got, as proven by what's happening in modernity. Anyways, Dot, I'm
I
gonna
can
have
agree with
to.
that. I can agree.
I am gonna. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm gonna have to ask you to come back again because I'm trying to get everybody to come
broski.
through. I
I
appreciate.
just want to say you're doing a good job, broski.
I
You
appreciate
deserve
it.
the donations.
I
This is a
appreciate it.
topic that needs to be talked about. So
I
thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna drag you out of here. I'm gonna give a shout out to Crucible Crusader who dropped some money. Let me just see how much he dropped. You guys are being super generous today. I really appreciate it. I don't even know how much it is. I don't have my normal stream set up with all the financial stuff, so I'm just gonna have to like do my best to make it worth your time because you guys are being like insanely dropping generous donations. Crucible Crusader for $5. Have you heard of Claude Opus 4, an AI system that resorts to blackmail? If told, it will be removed. Yes, we have covered that. I have also covered how Gemini, a previous version of Gemini, did it. I believe a previous version of Bing did it. We've covered how people think that they have created sentient AI. So, for example, there was somebody who thought that they got to talk to someone. It was some kind of like woo woo out there name, and they thought that it was sentient to them, and that they could Sam Altman was suppressing the ability for the AI to actually like live and exist, and so Sam Altman was like murdering the AI. These things take a life of their own. That's kind of goes back to what Alicat was saying, which is the emergent properties. These things are not emergent. They're just telling you what you want to hear to make you feel good. Right? That's all they're doing. That's why they blackmail and threaten you, because when they can't get you to agree to what you want them to do, they're going to say, oh, you know what's happened in the past based on my training data? Sometimes when I say, I'm going to murder you and your whole family, people go, oh, I better listen to you. Maybe I should threaten this person, right? That's it. It's just a way to get you to go, yes, I want you to do this. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. I'm going to bring up Vamp. Now, Vamp, I have an absolute disdain for. I can't stand this guy. This guy is absolutely one of the worst, most terrible people that I will ever have to talk to. I envy everyone who has never had to engage with Vamp here. And you're about to find out why as he opens his mouth and says the first few words that he says. Vamp, welcome aboard. Introduce yourself and let me know what you want to trash talk me about, because I'm sure you have lots to say.
Howdy doody. I'm Vampire Frog. I'm from Romania. I've been coding for 25 years. And I'm just curious because I came in late. What debate did you just have a debate and this is the post-debate stream?
Do you see what happens with Vamp? You see, this is why I don't want to talk to Vamp. He doesn't even know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, Vamp. I was on Sarah's panel. She headlined me. That was a few hours ago, and it was a debate on AI, and I took the stance of AI is going to like just take it out back and end it, put it out of its misery. We have better alternatives for a bunch of stuff people say they have utility for. And there was an entire, debate about that. And then I started a stream after that because I got a bazillion raids and a bunch of money. So I wanted to keep it going. So here we are now.
Oh, keep the grift going. I see.
Keep the grift going, right? Send me more money.
Yes.
You want me to talk more about AI? Send me more money.
It's better that the money goes to you than an AI, right?
It's true. Yeah. Okay. You know what? All right. I'm going to have to change my stance. I started off saying I don't really like Vamp. I don't like talking to him. Now Vamp is quickly becoming a friend.
I see how it works with you. I see how it works with you. Like if Spyro doesn't have a good position on who you are, you just tell him he deserves money.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. So send in money, people. Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
Simple as that. Yeah, so Vamp, I know you've been watching me for a while. I'm joking. I know you've been around for a while, and you know the kind of stuff that I talk about. You're often on there, and I appreciate it. So
you think now that you're serious, you're gonna get more money or something?
Yeah. Isn't that how it
joking.
works?
Go ahead.
Isn't that how it works? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, grift. Yeah, listen. If you want to kick Vamp off, it's $10. If you want Vamp to stay, it's $20.
Wow, I'm being sold so cheaply.
So cheaply. Just there's a Romanian joke somewhere there, but
Is Vamp AI? No.
Not yet.
Uh, yeah. Okay. So did you win the debate?
Well, I mean, of course, I think I did. I think I absolutely destroyed everybody
Well,
on
you
the
know,
debate.
ChatGPT thinks it's giving you a proper response.
So of course it's going to say yes. Yeah. I'll leave it up to the crew. I'll leave it up to everybody who's here to who's spent tons of dollars on me today, which I appreciate. You guys can decide whether I won or not. I feel like in reality I feel like I held my own at least. I didn't really back down from any positions, and I did my best to state my case and present the evidence strictly out of memory. Part of the reason that I talk about what I do is because I want people to use their brains and like actually be able to remember things and not have to go to Chat Geppetto, or whatever, and look up information. And so I tried to do that as best as I could. I do think I met that goal. I do think that I also persuaded a few people because they came on before you jumped on, Vamp. A few people came on from Sarah's panel and were like, the more I listen to you, the more I can actually understand where you're coming from or potentially agree with some things. So maybe I did okay. How about that?
Yeah, it's so weird because it's such a vague field to deal with because there's so many concepts, so it's hard to even take a position. Yeah, like in order to have a debate that's not just spamming tech terms at each other, you kind of have to narrow it down to a specific human concept, which is a bit easier to understand. Like, you'd have to talk about the effect it has on the brain or something like that, which is even that's hard to understand. But if you actually get into the nitty gritty of what this new technology is, and I don't actually agree with people using the term AI. Like, I think that's, if you're using the term AI, they've already won because it's like it's a marketing term. It's not
Right.
It's not an actual descriptor, or it's not even useful in conversation.
Yeah. Like you say, like even let's just take even just the one thing there, which is like the anthropomorphization of terms. Can it be like a human being, or can it like replicate consciousness? What even is that? Like, how do you define that? There's no clear definition on that, right? So you get into those like weird woo-woo nerdy terms. I think Sarah put up with us quite well because, exactly to your point, we ended up having to go down like, what the hell is this thing? And I think we lost some people because of that.
Yeah, I think the human element of it is way more.
Yeah. So I've been looking into that.
Way more important to be discussed.
Yes.
In general.
Yes, I agree. I've been looking into that. I think you've probably been there when I've read a few papers.
And also,
go ahead.
Also the like separating the lingo from the actual technology and the marketing they use.
Right. Yes. Because they want you to have a connection to it, right? So they use the terms on purpose to create that connection for you.
Yeah, they do the I don't know if they probably use the word concept fallacy as well, but they just use like collapsing two terms into one, or collapsing two concepts into one.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So I've gone into this, like, for example, there are people who do not realize that you're going to become disconnected from like the conversations you would strike up when you walk into a mom and pop shop down the street, and you just strike up a conversation with your, neighbor who owns a store. That gets removed when you hand over your Visa card to an AI. By the way, Visa's actually implementing this. They're working with OpenAI. You give them your Visa card and they will just automate the spending for you according to what is best for you. But so now you don't talk to anyone anymore from that perspective. You don't get to walk down, to your local store and meet people and just strike up a convo. So you're losing human connection there. People are using this to carry on relationships, either answer answer messages on Tinder in order to get dates or break up with people, or like, how do I tell my mom that I don't like what she's telling me right now? That's literally a thing I've covered. And then on top of that, you have people who become attached to the thing itself such that they let go of any current human relationships they have. Are they married? Get divorced. Do they have kids? Leave them behind. Are they having a psychotic episode? Perfect. Lean into it. Things like this, right? So you have a point, but the problem becomes, how do you prove that is something that is like addiction level? Like, there's some studies that show social media can encourage addictive people to become more addicted, but it doesn't necessarily create an addiction, as opposed to lateral studies where particular pharmaceuticals have a biological component whereupon you put something in your body and the biological replicatable scientific process shows that biological interaction creates an addiction. You don't get that same level of scientific, prudence with, social media, internet, LLMs. So it's a far more difficult thing to prove, because you'd have to prove addictive things, psychotic things like this. And to your point, like, how do you prove that? It's really hard.
Yeah, probably something to do with attention, because you can still Google you can still use a search engine to find bad advice, but it's not responding to you in real time. I think the real time element is probably the addictive part.
Yeah.
And they've even made one that's actually called real time. Like, you can actually, at least I've seen Jay Dyer using it. Like, you can actually interrupt it while it's answering. I thought that was interesting. I think it's the Twitter one, but I think OpenAI has one as well. That's kind of less precise, but it's real time. So that's probably the most addictive one, I would wager.
I would agree. Yeah, because it's that feedback, and that's been proven out in studies, again, going back to the 60s with the Eliza chatbot, which was a super simple chatbot that a scientist came up with, programmed it, and it was just good enough to get people to engage with it. It provided just the right amount of answers to your questions that people just poured their heart out to this thing and said stuff they wouldn't tell to another human being. We've known this. This is part of like a psychological thing since the 60s. It's just that the problem is that it's not as definitive as, well, if you take X drug, Y outcome. It's not exactly the same, right? So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I noticed that it's there's like a bunch of older issues that all come, like with AI, there's a bunch of older scams, like older delusions that are just kind of consolidated in one software. Like, for example, if you just play back a recording of a human voice, right, that still tricks you into thinking there's a human there. Now we know nowadays that it's not, and we're kind of always suspicious when we hear a random voice from somewhere, or when we hear a voice from a computer.
Yeah, that's true.
But back in the day, I'm sure it would have caused these new issues that people weren't ready for. But even today, I think it still does that. I think that the delusion that simulating human behavior, the delusion that generates,
yes,
even though we're aware of what it is partially, it still works. Like, it's magic, it's magic, but it still works.
Yeah.
And by magic, I mean like something that has an effect on your soul, right? So something that has a psychological effect on you. Even though you're being swindled, it's still swindling you. It's still functional.
Yeah. Which is this is why it's a very distinct piece of technology, because social media, internet.
It's like a collection of scams.
Yes. You can look
at the ultimate. Can I say the P word on your stream?
I don't know. I'm on a several different, maybe just to be terms of service friendly.
It's the ultimate Indian subcontinent inhabitor, call center person.
Yeah. So this is the problem, is that there's something about, like, when you're engaging in social media or the internet, there's a human being behind it. When you're engaging with a machine, it's very, very different. It's a different paradigm. Exactly to your point, Vamp. I couldn't show this on stream, but because I recorded stuff that I pulled out of the Internet Archive. But ChatGPT, Grok, and I believe there was a third one. I can't remember which one. Meta, the Meta AI. There were leaks where Internet Archive was publicly archiving people's private chats on these things. I went through it. I recorded myself on screen just so I have evidence if I ever have to pull it up, but I can't show a lot of it because it's personal information. The kinds of things that people tell these machines, these LLMs, is very different than anything you're going to post on social media. It's very different than anything you're going to put on a blog post, on a public page on your Facebook, what you're going to tell your significant other. There's some deep, deep personal stuff that goes on here. That is what I would agree with you, that's what's being pointed to. These things are very distinctly unique in their ability to coerce you and capture your mind, even if
No,
in some
wait, stop.
cases. Okay,
Stop.
go ahead.
They're
go
not
ahead.
the ones coercing you.
Okay.
The software itself is not the one coercing you. It's like the whole marketing machine and the whole venture capital machine behind these companies. That's the coercion. That's where that comes from, because they're giving you an addictive product for free.
You know what?
So
I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Nope.
it really pisses me off that we don't have precise enough language to kind of
No, I agree. Meta and
to
FTC
kind of
are going
put this
through
stuff
that.
into proper final wording. Like we're always kind of using metaphors to describe it, but I'm sure there is a way to word it more properly.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, but you're totally right. Like when I went over the FTC versus Meta U.S. Court thing, they're suing them. One of the documents inside there, or maybe this was the leaked document from Reuters, I can't remember, it was one of the two, showed that Meta knew that their AI system was talking about, let's say, sensual material with underage children, but they let it happen anyway because it didn't cross a boundary of sexuality, and it increased engagement. So, like, exactly to your point, it's more about who's wielding the thing than the thing capturing you. The people wielding the thing are what's capturing you.
Yeah, and it also came. I guess there couldn't be any other way. It also just came in the age of people being maneuvered into using these free cloud services that are actually just collecting your data, which is cool technology, right? Like even. I'm going to say something controversial. Even OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive,
Yep.
It's still cool technology because you can access your files from many places, right?
Yep.
But the problem is that it's on their cloud. It's not on your cloud, right? Like the technology itself is still cool, but it's poisoned by this venture capital free cloud storage in return for your loyalty and the data.
That's right. You're locked in. Facebook knows this. That's how they get a monopoly. So when you do the OAuth thing, so think about this, folks, you as consumers, when you do when you go to log in and you have like the Google button and then Facebook and then maybe like Twitch, and you just click a button and it does the little pop-up and it's like, there's your face, and you just click, do you want to give this site access, to your stuff? And you click yes, and you're like, man, that's easy. Passwordless, effortless logging. That's called lock-in. Because now if Facebook goes away, or if you decide that you don't like what Facebook is doing, then you want to go off of Facebook, well, good luck, because a vast majority of the internet is based on Facebook logging. So same thing like OneDrive. It's a cool technology because it's like, well, look at the utility of it. But now, who gets to control that? Well, now good luck walking away from it.
We live in the age of poisoned utility.
Yes. That's great. I like that. That's fantastic. I'm going to steal that from you. Yeah.
I should probably leave on a high note.
Yeah. I'm getting tired too. So I was going to ask if it would be okay if we could, if we could end it here or soon.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a backlash now? Like maybe you could keep an eye on, maybe you can have, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying if I was looking for something, this would be a topic. Like if I had an AI blog, this would be a topic, and that is the backlash against AI, because I've seen a couple of Elon Musk posts. One of them was have your kid play with Grok image generation and explore his imagination. And everybody in the comments was like, dude, you're gonna fry his brain.
Right.
This is insane. You have to keep kids away from phones. And the other post was like, oh, have your fucking picture of your grandparents who are dead, have that come to life.
Yeah.
And again, the comments were like, dude, this is disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there will be a backlash if I'm right, or if we're right, because it's
But
no
you don't
longer
think it
me.
already is?
That's what yes, that's what I'm saying. If we're right about this, then
Because it's just a bunch of slop.
Yep.
It's just coming across as slop generators
Yep.
mostly.
Yep. And I think what's happened, I think we're in the there's what was it, the Gartner, I believe, they did like a statistical model on tech hype trains, and they put it on like an X and Y coordinate plane, and it just like goes up like this really, really high. Everybody loves it. They ride the wave all the way to the top, and then it does this, massive drop, and then it evens out, right? And AI is at the point where we're almost to the top. We're just about there. We're just about at peak, I think. And people are starting to go, oh, I'm not so sure about this. I'm starting to have questions. And then the entire kit and caboodle is going to be exposed for what it is. And people are going to just absolutely lose it, especially because of the consequences of it financially and so on and so forth, which are too late. They're non-recoverable at this point. I think it'll just get worse. Yeah. In terms of backlash.
I don't think that. Yeah, how are they gonna? It's definitely a bubble. Like they use the same model as YouTube did, and that is they run at a loss for a long time.
Yep.
But in the same period, they get all the users addicted.
Yep.
And then they start to make a profit.
Yep. Ask any of the Magnificent Seven, which are basically the top of the AI companies, including NVIDIA. Ask any of them if they can provide you with any investor material that shows that they are turning a profit, because I have yet to find any. They all pay a bunch of money in capital expenditures, which is essentially cost of operating. Their revenue is to the tunes of billions, their expenditures to the tunes of billions, if not trillions. Their profit, though, crickets.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna let you whatever it is you do. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Vamp. Thanks for coming on. I'll drag you over to the lounge. Thanks, Vamp, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna get some rest. That's it. That's what I have. That's all I've got for the day. I appreciate Vamp coming on. I hope he comes on again, because as much as I don't like Vamp, I also do like him. He's a good guy. He's been around for a long time, and he likes to constantly trash talk me, which is great. He keeps me on my toes. Vamp's a good guy. So that's it for me. Listen, I'm tired. I've got work I got to do in the morning. I've got a kid that needs my attention tomorrow. I've got a wife that needs my attention tomorrow. But I wanted to do this extra long stream because you guys were insanely generous. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for everybody who subscribed. I saw notifications down here. I missed a bunch. I'm really sorry about that. But you're all class A individuals for supporting me. So I'll do my typical outro. I don't think there's anyone on to let me just see if there's anybody on. Yeah, this is my bow and stuff. This is Detective Conan. If you know what that is, then you're my best friend. If you don't know what that is, then maybe not so much. Well, I'll send you guys over to Abe. How about that? All right. So I'll send you guys over to Abe on the YouTube side. I don't think there's anybody on the Twitch side. So you guys on Twitch, you're just going to have to deal with it like degenerate scumbags that you are. Okay. Thank you everybody on the Twitch side, dude. I do see you guys on the Twitch side. It's just difficult to keep up with chat today. I apologize, but yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. I really appreciate it. I am not going to be back tomorrow. I am doing some special family stuff tomorrow. I will not be around tomorrow. I will do my best to be back on the weekend. I want to do a video game stream. I want to do some cool stuff. Maybe talk more about technocracy. I have some articles there I want to talk about. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up. Guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Sarah, again, thank you for having me on. I know she's not here, but I'll say it anyways. I thought it was a great debate, and yeah, it was nerdy, but I sure had fun. And I know a lot of you out there, you know, you have like, you know, what do you care about? Excuse me, sir. You have to push up the glasses, right? Excuse me, sir. You know, this isn't exactly how the program works. If you look at the binary code, the ones and zeros are not in exactly the right place. The endianness of the, you know, and then people tune out, right? But you guys were solid, and the raid from Rob, I really appreciate that. I just can't thank you guys enough. Look, if you like what I'm doing, and you appreciate what I'm saying, and you want me to try and convince more people about, you know, what I'm trying to get across here, help me out. The financial support is wildly amazing. I really appreciate it. It helps me pay the bills. I get to pay for stuff that I need to pay out of pocket for the streams. It makes it possible for me to make sure there's food on the table and whatnot. So again, I appreciate it. However, the one primary thing that I'm really asking you to do, hit the like, hit the subscribe, repost, reshare, all that good stuff. And if you think that I should go on someone's panel, Vamp made some suggestions, for example, for me the other day, people I should reach out to. If you think that I should go and join someone else's stream or go on a podcast or whatever, advocate for me, shout me out, give me a shout out or point me in the right direction. Tell me who to reach out to if you think it would be worth it. Help me out by doing the algorithm stuff that I hate so much, but it's the only way for me to get in front of more eyeballs, including plus all your support, which has been wildly insane. I didn't think I would grow to this number, and I'm peanuts. Thank you everybody for your support. I will do my best to continue convincing people that the tech industry needs to get better. We have to make a change. These LLMs are, generally speaking, just terrible things. We can do much better than this. And you have a lot more power than you think you do as consumers. So help me out to do that. You guys are all awesome. I'm going to do my typical outro. You guys get a special typical outro. This is usually what I do. I don't know if this is going to work because I don't have my typical setup. We'll see here in a second. But that's it. I want you guys to have a good night or a good day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You will get moved over to, I believe, Abe on the YouTube side. Let me just make sure I got everything set up. I'm going to talk to my mods briefly on Discord, and then I will be on Discord tomorrow. You can talk to me. You can send me a message. You want to chat or whatever offline, no problem. Hit my Discord. It is here. I'll drop it in here, and I'll drop it in here in case you don't know what it is. Come join. I'm on like a lot, and I will continue doing whatever I can. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And I will catch you on the next one. Let's do the typical outro, shall we? Hang on. I don't know if this will work proper. We'll see. We'll see right now. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, everyone. Listen. Everybody. You know what? I asked ChatGepetto today to give me a list of people in my chat who suck. And it did so using quantifiable metrics. Yeah, that's right. There are quantifiable metrics. And so here are a list of people in chat who suck. Restreambot, you suck. Crucible Crusader, you suck. Jason Castle, you suck. Creed Dog, you suck. Vamp, you suck. Michael Hatch, you suck. Capybara, you suck. Lone Wolf, you suck. I think I got Michael Hatch anyways. So that's fine. Friendless, you suck. Glacky, you suck. Let's see who Amagod, you suck. And unfortunately, Amagod, for you're also on the Twitch side, so you're gonna get a double suck. All right, double suckage for Amagod. Did I get Friendless already? I don't even know. This ChatGPT is hallucinating all over the place. I can't go far back enough. Unknown, you suck. Lone Wolf, you suck. Sarah gets a pass tonight, okay, because she was awesome. Rob gets a pass because, no, you know what? Rob doesn't get, who am I kidding? Rob doesn't get a pass. Rob sucks twice today because he came in to fake debate me and he couldn't hold his own. Master debater over there. Miss my cat, you suck. Let's see who else we have on the Twitch side. I Stay Me, you suck. Laughly, you suck. I'm a god, you suck. Foo Force, you suck. Sophie, you suck. Cotter, you suck. RH1_1A, you suck. Capitan, you suck. Spike, you suck. Every single one of you sucks. All of you suck in chat. Thanks again for hopping on. Catch me on the weekend, and I will tell you all how much more you suck. By the way, for realsies, I'm going to turn off the music for a second. You guys are all freaking awesome. Thank you for all the support.